I am thrilled to have join me today two experts in the field of CBD and prednisone. One we've heard from before, that's Ron, and another we've never heard from before, and he's coming to us all the way from Israel. This has been so exciting to have the United States, Israel, joining together to talk about this important and cutting edge topic of how can CBD or hemp or marijuana derived products help prednisone side effects. So I'd love to welcome David. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good evening, good morning.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for being with us. So you're the founder of a company called STERO, and you're basically using CBD-derived products or formula to help kind of substitute prednisone?
Yes, actually, our statement is steroid sparing, and we have an approved patent for that, using our solution in order to lower or to decrease or to eliminate the needed steroids in various, I would say, disease.
And how did you even start? Like, your background is in pharma, or how did you start this company? Why did you start this company specifically?
I'll try to make a long story in very short sentences. I'm a high-tech person, master degree, which his mother got cancer. I investigated a lot of my resources learning her cancer solutions, and that became a company and a traded company. And then as a second follow-up session, mainly based on the will she wanted me to continue and help and support people, I turned and I licensed another solution based on cannabis. It's CBD versus a terrifying disease called GVHD. Within the GVHD experience, within that journey, that specific company was sold later on. Within that journey, in one of the clinical trials we did in Rabin Center, it's a hospital in Israel, the physicians discovered that while they are using the formula based on the CBD, they discovered a decrease of 80% in the need of steroids. At that point of time, we wrote an IP. By 2018, the IP was approved in the States. And since then, we started a series of clinical trials in hospitals in Israel on different diseases.
So that's the IP you found in May 2017?
You're right. It was exactly in that period of time. And then it got approved by August 2018. In the States, it's still pending and waiting for confirmations in other territories in the world, where the states are working very fast. It's a very large IP, covering any combination with CBD, covering any delivery system, and covering more than 130 different diseases that steroids are used in order to to help the disease. When you take steroids for a few days, 1 week, it's good. When you take it permanently, it has so many bad side effects. I'm sure that some of you know it and some of you feel it, but it's terrible.
Interesting. And what did it take to get this approval? What was the process?
Deep pockets, I don't know, maybe $50 million, $100 million, who knows?
Wow.
Because I'm doing it not in order to sell it as a wellness product, because when you sell it as a wellness product, you can just say it supports, it helps,
Right.
You cannot say actually this medicine, this is a medicine, this is a cure, and so on. You need to prove several clinical trials. We have done, in the first company, we have done 8 clinical trials. In this company, we did 4 of them. But in order to pass as medicine, it's years, it's money, it's at least 2-3 more clinical trials of phase 2, phase 3, which is $50 million at least, and time. So the way to take it from this point on is just by licensing the product and the IP to a big pharma that can really take all what it needs to make it approved by FDA.
But is the big pharma companies ready to, be involved in such products with cannabis or CBD?
It's the best question I could think about, because actually the scouts of those big pharma are excited, but farmers will treat currently CBD as part of illegal solution. And while they are right in the federal manner in the states, they are wrong when you're talking about pure CBD, just for example, synthetic CBD, which costs more. But this synthetic CBD, which is produced in labs and not botanic solution, some of those solutions have even drug master file, meaning approval by the FDA to be used. So while this is a known solution for a few years, still until 2 weeks ago, there was no real ability in the States to do real big, large R&D related to cannabis. 2-3 weeks ago, Biden just signed the bill that allows R&D in the States. It's a major progress. Because,
wow.
Yeah, that's a big wow. Biden promised several things, but being unable, he was promoting those bills with the Congress, but it was normally getting to a dead end in the Senate. So this time it passed the part of the R&D. We are still waiting that they will pass the other parts of the legal system, and they are really trying to make the bill to take out actually marijuana out of illegal drug. And remember, I'm not talking about marijuana. I'm not talking about cannabis. I'm talking about one ingredient called CBD, which if you want, you can get it synthetic, meaning 100% CBD without any other ingredient. Having that solution, having all the know-how that we have purchased in the last 10 years in Israel, because here R&D is allowed. And, I'm talking like a biotech or high-tech person, but who are my partners? My partners are Clalit HMO Health Management Organizations. It's like Kaiser. Okay, so it's big. It's 5 million patients. It has 14 hospitals. It has about 12,000 physicians. So my partner is big, and my ability to perform all this R&D was based on the facilities of the hospitals of Clalit in Israel.
And then, are you still looking for such a partner here in the US, like Kaiser that you mentioned? Or?
Well, Kaiser is the clinics that will use it. But the partner that I'm referring can be any of the two types. The cannabis companies, if they turn to R&D, which they are not in these days, or the pharma companies, which this will be probably the right solution to make it a medicine. So the cannabis companies can really market it as wellness, as a food supplement in the wellness market in those territories that allow sales of CBD. But in the future, just give it some more time, the pharma companies will discover the beauty of the solutions involved with cannabis in general and CBD in particular. And just as a simple fact, we are talking here about the steroids, and I was talking about solution for GVHD. We have active clinical trial lowering cholesterol. We will have another clinical trial lowering triglyceride. We are having a clinical trial in ulcerative colitis. We are about to have 2 clinical trials, one in peripheral neuropathy and one in bronchiolitis obliterans. So all those huge disease, we claim to say that we have a potential for medicine in using cannabis ingredients. However,
Is amazing.
However, we proved it in great clinical trials, 8 clinical trials with the first one, the GVHD. We demonstrated it with beautiful initial results with the steroids, which we're talking about today. We lowered actually there is an open label clinical trial that ended in a disease called urticaria. And we used about, I think, 15 patients, and the results are beautiful. They didn't need any steroids, and it was easy because we compared them to themselves. That was an open label one.
Right.
And there is another one that will end in 2nd of January 2023. We're ending a 2 years clinical study with another 15 patients, and this now we are trying to eliminate the steroids in a different disease called Crohn. Okay, so it's an IBD infection disease, and it seems that we are doing good also there from the general response. We have seen that already in the GVHD clinical trial, that we lowered 80% of the dosage of steroids. And regardless of lowering steroids, our IP also covers enhancing the therapeutic effect when using CBD and steroid together. And we demonstrated, again, only a small portion of people, 10 people. When, if you remember, we had a Delta COVID, and that was killing people mainly with cytokine storm. And statistically, we should have lost 5 patients out of 10. In fact, all the 10 stayed alive. So, but again, it's not significant in medical science. It's just an observation. We think that there is lots of what to do with cannabis, with CBD, and in certain points it will replace steroid. In certain points it will support the solution when we use both of them. We have explained also with our clinical trials and research the mechanism of action. We understand how the CBD helps with the immune system, and it calms the immune system, and it has several effects related to inflammation that decrease the inflammation. So those are behind us. Now the hard work is to make it harder to be sold in a wellness market, which people like your viewers probably are looking how, because we get every week a request from a patient, how can I buy this solution? How can I buy it? And I'm sorry, I can't sell it. I'm not allowed to. I can't say it has proved all what the FDA demands. I can't do that. So I hope that one of those are the wellness distributors will think to distribute that in all those places that allow cannabis sales. And it has to be a big one, because without proving it to the FDA, I'm not sure that he will be able to protect the IP, or a pharma that will take it all the way down, because it's huge market, 130 different diseases that are, the numbers are huge. Those who are taking cortisone, steroids, prednisones, and so on.
And is there any conditions where it's not recommended that you saw any?
So in any clinical trial, one of the primary endpoints is safety. And safety was demonstrated very good in about almost 250 patients in different disease. So the safety is good. We didn't see major adverse events. I would say conditions, we didn't feel that we needed to limit it. There are inclusion and exclusion to our clinical trials, but currently we don't see any major obstacle to taking the CBD. It's quite safe. It's regarded safe. FDA treats it as safe. However, they definitely require to prove safety in each clinical trial. All those that we did by now, we didn't see any bad effect.
So, and then there's like over like 130 autoimmune conditions. Do you think eventually it will be like inclusive?
So it's autoimmune plus infections. It's like 70-70. So those are known by name. So when you open the IP, you can read 130 names, but any disease with autoimmune based or infection is covered by our IP and can be used in this solution. You can put myasthenia gravis, you can put COPD, asthma, so many are there, FMF, so many are there. So in some of them, the solution is not steroids every day. So that won't be effective there. But you need to take all those cases that the bad cases are using steroid every day. And again, those letters that arrive to us, they claim that we feel bad, we can't walk, we can't work, we can't eat, we can't, we can't. Those those I would say 10% per disease that are using the steroids permanently, they would enjoy this solution for sure.
Yeah, so I was 23 years on steroids, so I know very well how it feels. But now I'm 4 years clean, done.
Using CBD?
Yeah, my own formula. Yeah.
Perfect.
Miracle. What about rheumatoid arthritis? Did you have any trials with that?
Not yet, but it's on the list. Following the order of my mother, I have to continue research. And I'm doing so, but it costs money. Each clinical trial you're talking about maybe $500,000, and
Wow.
that's only because I have the support of Clalit HMO. If it would be regular, it would be 10 times higher.
Wow.
So lots of resources are involved here.
Very cool. Megan, anything from your side?
Yeah, I just want to comment on how gutsy to start with GVHD. That, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's graft versus host disease, which is when somebody had a transplant and it's not working very well and their body's trying to get rid of the transplant. And I mean, to me, that would be a later on the list type of thing to do, because like, what if your solution worsened it and they lost their transplant? Like, that's $1 million organ right there. Like, I'm so surprised and impressed that you would start with GVHD, and tell us more about those results, because that's like stunning to me.
First, since we did publish many of this data outside, so later on I can send you, we are just putting an article. So once the article will be out, it's like in 2 months, we will send that and everybody can read. We put lots of data there. In general, you know how all of that started. GVHD patients are dying, and GVHD patients are getting to a situation where you can't help them anymore, and they're just, sorry to say so, waiting to die. And the physician I'm working with tried to help them with the pain, and he gave them cannabis to smoke in order to heal the pain. Suddenly he saw, and I'm talking about 2012 and 2013, suddenly he saw that those patients that are taking the cannabis in order to ease the pain are feeling better. in terms of GVHD. And this gave him the idea, and he started a small trial, and he did like 48 patients before I was involved, and he saw good signs. And then by my efforts of doing some research and my meeting with Clalit, I ended up putting a new company based on his ideas and his IP, and we put different clinical trials. For example, we extended the length of the trial from 30 days taking CBD to 100 days taking CBD, and that gave huge good effect to the recovery, to the prevention of GVHD. And later on, we did 10 patients, treating patients. The statistics would kill 70% of those patients. I'm talking about grade 3 and grade 4. So grade 3, 70% are dying. Grade 4, more than 90%. We didn't lose anybody. And that was fantastic. This data is published. Again, since we are talking about 30,000 cases a year, I think it's about 10, 12,000 cases in the States and around 17 in Europe, West Europe. So it's still considered orphan disease, meaning it's not big in the terms of 300 million population, but it's a killing disease. And that's how the physician got to it, and that's how I got to the physician. But in general, we truly believe that we have a life-saving solution just waiting there to be taken by a great pharma, to be researched and to be sold, to enable patients to stay alive. That's in GVHD. So in the steroids, we're not talking about, I would say, life or death. We would say about bad life or good life. As you, Ron, suffered 23 years. So I just estimate that it wasn't easy and it wasn't fun. I think that you suffered several days, bad days. That's what we read in the letters that people are writing to us. And ineffectively, we are saying, I'm sorry, we can't help you. We can't sell it. We are not allowed to.
So now it's in the form of a pill, or what
no,
is
we're
it?
using we can use it in different forms. The way that we use it in our clinical trials is a simple putting the CBD with oil, specific oil, and drinking it. It's not the best ideal solution, but this is the working solution. In the future, we can develop different delivery systems in other. For example, in the lowering cholesterol one, we are using it as drinkable solution. And we also invented chocolate. So you eat chocolate in order to lower your cholesterol or triglyceride. So this will be marketing quite soon because this has IP on the combination. So we are not afraid from violation, IP violation. So we'll be able to market it in any state that allows cannabis sales. If you take the other disease I mentioned, we're using inhalation, we're using enema, we're using creams. So the solutions are different per disease. The most important element that we need enough CBD to arrive to the right place in the relevant disease. Think about the time that it takes to find the solution, to find the formula, to make it a solution that will also buy. It takes about 2 years in order to get Helsinki and the Ministry of Health approval to those clinical trials. So you need to understand how much effort is being done to formalize it. I'm working today with 15 different physicians. Mostly they are department heads, the one that for gastro, the one for neuropathy, the one for GVHD. So, it's different. The one for Crohn, different physicians. They're all very, very smart people. But again, limited in resources, we do it in our pace.
This is so exciting. Like, I
Intriguing.
had to take prednisone and it was one of the worst experiences. Actually, it really is like one of the very worst experiences of my life. Those side effects were just horrible. And I talk to or email people nearly every day about how horrible the side effects are, and just finding out that somebody's actually doing research to find us an alternative. This is just amazing. Like, this is an answer to so many people's prayers.
It's already 5 years. It's not, it didn't start yesterday. And with the GVHD, it's 8 years. So we are deep involved. Again, Israel was I would say, I don't know if you're familiar with the history here, but Professor Raphael Meshulam is the father of cannabis. He's from Israel. He was the one to find all the ingredients of cannabis. He was he's like #1 person, and he's from Jerusalem. And because in Israel you could explore and do research already in the last 40 years. So that enabled us to get to lots of data before. There was a big boom in the areas of 2016, and then it spread all over with cannabis. But again, a failure of 2019 and on in the capital markets made it to remain as just fund solution, sometimes medical solution, like in medical cannabis to ease pain mainly, but that's the maximum goal. There is only one solution approved by the FDA. It's a solution, right? Yeah, the epilepsy of GW Pharma that was sold to Jazz Pharmaceutical, $7 billion.
When we started this conversation, I was hoping that it could help with the side effects, but then you mentioned that it's not just the side effects that it can help with. It can actually lower the dose of the prednisone and potentially replace the need for prednisone in certain conditions. Like
what
this,
we think that it actually fights the disease, and the result is lowering the steroid. However, you cannot write an IP saying CBD is good versus Crohn, because this is a known fact already in the academy. So we know in the academy there were articles stating that CBD helps Crohn, for example. But if CBD lowers steroids, that's a new idea. The thing is that we think that part of the work that is being done is it's lowering the steroids because it's also have effects versus the disease itself.
Wow. So like side effects, lowering the dose, lowering the need for the drug because you're counteracting the disease itself. Like, I was up here and we're all the way down here. Wow. Like mind blown. This is so
very interesting.
So exciting.
Intriguing.
So exciting that there is hope, because for so many people, like prednisone basically hasn't changed since 1955. It's been the same drug, and they've created the enemas and the inhaled versions and the nasal sprays versions of those steroids. But essentially, if you have to take prednisone, you have to take prednisone, and that's it. And so knowing that there's something in the pipeline is just so exciting. I'm thrilled.
It's there. And you know what? 3 weeks ago, the Biden administration released the ability to do research, give the pharma companies few months to get used to this idea. And then you will see those pioneers entering the field more and more. And now that they know that they can do their own research and not rely only on research done outside the States. Because even if a pharma would believe to everything that we are doing here, they need to test it by themselves in the States, and it was hard. Now it will be easier. You just need the brave farmers to enter to this field. Yeah, and I would start with the GVHD because this is a life-threatening, but I would definitely recommend those farmers that are working with solutions based for steroids to enter to that field as well.
Okay, I think we're out of time now. I'd like to thank you, David, so much for being with us and enlightening us with this, new information. We're looking forward to see the data that's going to come out. It's going to be really interesting. Megan?
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us today. This has been more than I hoped for. Definitely. I am so excited and I can't wait to find out more. I mean, I was just Googling, like, when did that get approved by Biden? It was December 2nd. So this is just very late breaking news that it's just happening right now, that the possibilities are opening up and that there's hope for so many people stuck on prednisone like I was for 9 months and like Ron was for 23 years. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. And I'm signing off as Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.